So let's dive right into it. We're going to actually show off those Excel features. Once we go through the Excel side of the coin, we'll flip back over into Office 365. But let's get this ball rolling with a Excel worksheet. And I'm going to start with a blank worksheet. So as you can tell here, I'm running a very simple copy of Excel. It's got the new capabilities built into it through Power BI, and it's leveraging some of those shared features as well. If I look into it, into the Power Query item, it's actually just an item on the ribbon. So I'm not having to learn a completely new tool to be able to take advantage of it. I can see at a glance I've got a variety of different places that I can pull information from to be able to
You will
source
now
it
be placed into
into
conference.
my worksheet.
To mute your line, press *6.
So
To
one of the
unmute,
items that's
press
contained within here
#6.
is online search. This is as simple as it sounds. I can come in here and start typing in, energy consumption, for instance, and it will actually go out and look on the internet for potential data sources for me to grab. You'll notice as you hover over these items, it'll actually say the location of each one. This one is coming from the World Bank. This one is coming from Wikipedia. I've got another one from Wikipedia here. When you think Wikipedia, most of us think fairly poorly maintained data. You know, a lot of people are editing it. It's in a table. You don't know what that format is. By hovering over it, it's relatively easy to see what type of data is contained within these sources, as well as the underlying columns that are contained within it. But even a data source like this, like Wikipedia, I can choose to actually hit edit, and it will bring up the Explorer mode for me to be able to massage the data that's contained within here. So all of this data is data that I'm pulling from an online public web source. This could be data that I pulled from an on-premise server or a database server or the like, but I've chosen to pull it from an online source. Once you've got the data in Data Explorer, this is when that massaging and what I like to think of as that data grunt work takes place typically. If you had pulled this into Excel, you might spend an hour or 2 hours simply getting the data to look the way that you might want it to look. I could come in here and change some of these column names. I could say, oh, this is actually the 1990 energy column. I can come in and change this particular name to say, oh, this is actually the country name. I can move some items around, so I can say, well, it's more important to have this population figure at the top. Now, you'll notice as I'm starting to make changes to these data columns that it actually is keeping a track of everything that I'm doing here in the right-hand side. Each of these steps I can go back to and see the data as I've made changes to it. The great thing about that is as I start to format this, and I can actually, it goes beyond formatting, I can change the type of data, I can make this an actual number, I can change it to a decimal number. As you move through there, it will make changes to the environment so that I can later have a repeatable process to get where I need to be. So as you look through here, I've made a number of changes through the document. If I want to, I can go into what's known as the advanced editor and see all of those changes that I've made in a single text-based manner. So it's quite easy for me to bring this up and see this is the data that I've changed. I could take this query and send it to someone else, and they could edit it and make another change. Let's look at another place that I can get data from. I'm going to go ahead and load this into the environment so that you can see what it looks like just out of the gate. This is a free plugin that you can add in and turn on in Excel, so anyone can go out there and get access to this data. When you start to look at the data columns that are contained here, I've also got a little item here that says this is the regional energy use. And if you look at the numbers here, this preview is actually showing me a rich preview based on the data changes that I made to the underlying sources. This is connected to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is often updated. All I have to do to update this is to actually select this button that says refresh, and it will go out and refresh the data from the underlying data sources and apply the changes that I have to it once again. So when you think about those types of dull data drudgery tasks that some of your business analysts are performing, a lot of it is because every time the data source is updated, they have to go back and reformat everything. With Power Query, all of that can be done in real time, and I can see the results of it simply by hovering over this. This preview is not a preview of what the data source looks like. This is a preview of what the data looks like after I've manipulated it.